It was a rainy afternoon when a boy named Max entered an old dusty library tucked away at the edge of town. He was looking for something to pass the time when suddenly a thick leather-bound book fell from the top shelf, landing right in front of him. It was unlike anything he had seen before, covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the dim light. Max picked up the book, feeling a strange warmth radiating from it. He opened the first page and his eyes widened as he read the title, The Magical Book. This is no ordinary book, he thought, as the symbols on the page began to move before his very eyes, forming words that shifted like living creatures. Curious, Max turned the next page, and suddenly the room around him began to shift and twist. The walls of the library started to melt away, revealing a vast mystical landscape filled with floating islands, glowing trees, and shimmering rivers. Max blinked and realized that he was no longer in the library. He had somehow been transported into the world of the book. He felt a strange sensation in his pocket and pulled out a golden key that hadn't been there before. What is this? Poor, he wondered. Just then, a voice echoed around him. Find the hidden door. The voice whispered, find the door and unlock the secret within. Max looked around, but there was no one in sight who was speaking to him. He wondered. Max began to walk cautiously through the strange landscape, every step echoing in the eerie silence. As he ventured deeper into the magical world, he noticed something moving in the shadows following him. He quickened his pace, but the movement in the shadows mirrored his every step. Suddenly, a figure darted out from the shadows. A creature with glowing eyes and sharp claws. Max gasped and started to run, his heart pounding in his chest. The creature let out a growl and chased after him, getting closer with every second. Max saw a bridge up ahead and sprinted towards it, knowing that if he didn't cross in time, the creature would catch him. Just as Max reached the bridge, it began to shimmer and flicker like it wasn't entirely real. He had no choice but to step onto it, hoping it would hold. As he crossed the bridge, the world around him warped and twisted, the landscape changing with each step. One moment he was in a jungle, the next he was surrounded by endless deserts, then towering mountains. Max struggled to keep his balance, feeling the presence of the creature still following him. When he reached the other side, the bridge vanished behind him, and so did the creature, or so he thought. Max caught his breath and continued walking, trying to make sense of what was happening. Suddenly he heard footsteps approaching from behind, but this time they weren't menacing. They were calm, deliberate. Max turned to see a figure cloaked in shadow standing just a few feet away from him. The figure spoke softly. I've been waiting for you. Max, startled by the stranger, asked, who are you, and how do you know my name? The stranger stepped closer, revealing a face half hidden by a hood. I've been guiding many like you through this world. He said, this is no ordinary book. It is a test, a challenge. But it can also be your greatest ally if you understand its secrets. The stranger vanished as quickly as he appeared, leaving Max with more questions than answers. Max found himself standing before an enormous maze with walls made of twisting vines and glowing stones. A sign at the entrance read, only the brave will find the way through. With no other choice, Max entered the maze, immediately feeling the weight of the challenge ahead. The walls shifted and moved behind him, cutting off any chance of turning back. Every turn seemed to lead to a dead end. Max began to feel the pressure growing with each wrong turn he made, the air around him thickening as if the maze itself was alive. As Max wandered deeper into the maze, strange whispers began to fill the air, echoing around him from every direction. At first they were soft, barely audible. But then they grew louder, the voices speaking in riddles and cryptic phrases. Max felt disoriented, but he tried to focus on the words, hoping they would offer him some clue to escape. The walls of the maze pulsed with energy and the vines twisted closer towards him as if they were trying to trap him. Max knew he had to solve the riddle before it was too late. At the bottom of the stairs, Max found himself in a cavernous chamber illuminated by a single glowing crystal in the center. The crystal pulsed with a powerful energy and a voice echoed through the chamber, you have done well to make it this far, but now you must face the final challenge. Max looked around, trying to find the source of the voice, but there was no one in sight. Suddenly, the ground shook, and from the shadows emerged a massive guardian made of stone and fire. The guardian roared its voice, shaking the chamber, and charged towards Max with terrifying speed. Max braced himself for the fight of his life. Max realized he couldn't defeat the guardian with strength alone. He had to use the power of the book. He remembered the stranger's words and quickly flipped through the pages of the magical book as the guardian bore down on him. Suddenly, the pages began to glow, and Max felt a surge of energy flow through him. He held up the book, and with a shout released a powerful blast of light that struck the guardian, freezing it in place. The guardian roared one last time before crumbling into dust. The chamber fell silent and the glowing crystal floated towards Max. It transformed into a small glowing orb that hovered above his hand. As Max held the glowing orb, the voice returned. "You have unlocked the true power of the book. With this you can reshape reality, but use it wisely." The orb absorbed into Max's chest, filling him with warmth and light. The chamber began to dissolve around him, and soon he found himself back in the old dusty library, the magical book still in his hands. Max looked around. Everything was back to normal, but he knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The adventure was far from over. The book had many more secrets to reveal, and Max was ready to discover them. Subscribe and share. Thanks for watching. If you like our story, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends. Stay tuned for more exciting adventures and stories.